Call the Osseo City Council regular meeting to order here for Tuesday, October 14th at 7 p.m. Roll call. Looks like we're missing Councilmember Schultz this evening. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Cook to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next, consent agenda. Any questions on the consent agenda? If not, we look for a motion.
Approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I've got a motion by Councilmember Harkoff to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, next is matters from the floor. Anyone wishing to speak, please fill out a yellow sheet, hand it in to the city staff members, and we'll call you up in an order to address the council on a matter you wish. Generally not attempt to answer your questions, but we'll consider those at future council meetings. First one, Preston Kroskin.
Hi. Well, I didn't put my name down like that again. It's my Fourth Amendment right to be anonymous. I put smelly balls or anonymous. All you gotta say is anonymous member of the public. It's against my Fourth Amendment right. Tom, you were a police officer. Did you not take an oath to uphold the Constitution? Speak to him. Shane, same difference. Sam, I know you weren't introduced. I don't know your last name. I can pronounce it, but speak to him. Our constitutional rights, Fourth Amendment to be anonymous. Tonight, 10E, you're going to take away our First Amendment right. They've already taken our First Amendment right away by shutting down the comments. So think about that. Sam, are you the same law firm as Mary?
Correct. Kennedy and Graven Chartered.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other matters to the floor? Third time matters to the floor. All right, moving on. 7, special business. 7A, accept donations.
Mayor, Council, this is a resolution accepting the donation to the city of Osseo. Whereas the Osseo City Council is generally authorized to accept contributions of real and personal property pursuant to Minnesota Statute 465.03, and whereas the council agrees that said donation would be a benefit to the citizens of Osseo, and whereas the following has proposed this contribution to the city of Osseo and the donation be used for a specific purpose as indicated below. Site Brothers, $100 to Mini Dazzle. Real Life Cooperative, $250 to Mini Dazzle. Evans Nordby Funeral Home, $250 to Mini Dazzle / Lunch with Santa. Two Scoops, $50 to Mini Dazzle. ZR's Main Street Liquor, $500 Mini Dazzle Lunch with Santa. Lawing Consulting Inc., $300 Mini Dazzle Lunch with Santa. Lawinger Consulting, Inc., $150 to the Osseo Fire Department, and Osseo Fire Relief Association, $25,000 to the Osseo Fire Department. This resolution will be adopted the 14th day of October, 2025.
Look, motion to accept donations is read.
So moved.
A motion by Councilmember Harkoff to accept donations is read.
Second.
Councilmember Torres. Further discussion?
Just want to thank the donors for their donations.
Thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, Attorney Zelke.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Harkoff.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. All right, 7B, approve gateway sign fee waiver for the Osseo Band Booster Club.
Mayor, Council, this is the Osseo Band Boosters. They're looking for some sign usage for the fee waiver. And it's an indoor marching band concert and silent auction. This is to benefit the Osseo Senior High Band.
Mr. Mayor, I think this is great. I think that the Osseo band, I hope they have an incredible event. I'm kind of curious as to where we start to draw the line of who has to actually pay for the board to use the board. So it seems to me that this is an entity. If all of a sudden now we start every single school booster club that wants to put something up on the board, we're going to waive all of those fees. It just takes a slope to me, but just my opinion. So.
Mr. Mayor, I'm more or less echo that, but the thing that stood out to me was in their application and how this particular organization relies heavily on fundraising, self-funded, and remembering back when I was in band and having to sell oranges just to be able to do stuff. I think that I know it's real hard to distinguish where is that line, but I think, failing on the side of an organization that's got something to do with youth and who doesn't have a ton of money makes it a little easier for me to be a yes on this.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, we get these all the time. I think at some point we have to draw lines for them. Would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, another question. What is the cost of what they're asking to have for free? Do we know? Or
$100.
Your advertisement is how the sign was to be funded and operationally producing revenue. All right, to keep things moving, I'll make a motion to deny the Gateway sign fever. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right. Number 8, public hearings. No public hearings this evening. Number 9, old business. 9A, approve second reading and adoption of the summary publication of ordinance 2025-7 amending section 111.08 of the city code.
Mayor, Council, this is the second reading, adoption summary publication to our solicitors and transient merchant change from the 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we're asking the council to approve the second reading, adopt the ordinance change, and then a summary publication.
Questions, council?
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to stand by my comments that I made last time, which when we talked about this. I think I would rather see 7 p.m. be 8 p.m. I can live with 7 p.m., but 7 a.m. seems a little. most of the other city ordinances that it starts, I think the solicitation time starts at 9 o'clock. 7 a.m. seems as obnoxiously early to those of us, to some of us, as the 9 p.m. seemed obnoxiously late to people. For the reasons of supporting, sleeping children and different things like that, and moving the time from 9 p.m. up. I mean, those, at least at my house, those same kids are still sleeping at 7 a.m. I don't really want my doorbell going off at 7 a.m. so somebody can sell me a new roof, personally. So I think 7 a.m. I think 7 a.m. should be changed for the same reason that we're looking to change 9 p.m. to 7 p.m., in my personal opinion.
Mr. Mayor, I'm actually of a similar mindset. I knew that we were kind of going back and forth. I know this keeps getting kicked down the road, and we don't like to keep kicking things down the road, but I would agree. 7 o'clock, I think, put myself in the place of somebody where the doorbell's going off at 7 o'clock in the morning, especially, this is 7 days a week. So do I want to get woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday or a Sunday? Not really. So I struggle with the 7 a.m. as well. I mean, if this was even 8 o'clock, I mean, I think there's a significant difference between 7 a.m. and even 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, kids are already on their way to school or whatever. But 7, just like, oh, man, in the winter, the sun's not even up yet. So I think if this said 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., it'd be an easier yes. But now it's kind of I don't know. And I think if we do come to that consensus, doing this 2 weeks from now is not going to be, we're not missing anything doing this 2 weeks from now.
I don't know if we have to do that. I think, would we have to do that? Kick it down the road if they want to change the time? It's a second reading. I don't think so, would we?
No.
I think we can change the resolution.
Oh, we can do that tonight?
I think we can do that tonight if you wish.
So I would be willing to split the difference between 9 o'clock and 7 o'clock and call it 8. And then it would be a hard yes for me.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, you can make a motion to that effect.
I will make a motion to approve the second reading adoption summary publication amending sections 111.08 of City Code modifying the hours allowed for conducting business by peddlers, solicitors, or transient merchants with the time amended from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Otherwise, everything else is fine.
I got a motion by Councilmember Torres to adopt this second reading and summary publication of the amendments, changing the dates or changing the time from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook. Any further discussion?
Actually, I think I may have misheard, but I think it's the other way. We're changing from 7 to 8.
Yep, 7,
Okay.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is the hours.
Right, which gets changed. The amended is now, it's going to be 8 to 7.
8 a.m.
Yes.
to 7 p.m.
Yep.
So I
Okay, just clarifying. Thank you.
Yep, go ahead. Attorney Zelke.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Councilmember Hardkoff?
Aye.
Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Mayor Poppy?
Aye, motion passes 4-0. All right, 9B, approve resolution adopting 2025 water sewer storm water rates.
Mayor, council, this is again something that you voted on. It's a clerical update that we have to do, but I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca, and she's going to talk about what we're doing.
Good evening, Rebecca Kurtz with Ellers. Earlier this year, there were some work sessions and meetings where the council discussed the mid-year rate increase for the 3 utilities. I believe there was a council meeting where this was done by motion to set what the new utility rates would be for a mid-year adjustment in 25, carrying into then 26. The resolution, that needs to be done per resolution, and so with that, the resolution today just memorializes what was discussed at prior meetings. With that, again, just as a reminder, it is anticipated the average quarterly water, sewer, and storm bill under the proposed rates for a single-family home would be $168.96 per quarter. I am happy to go into more detail or answer questions if there are any.
Questions? No? Need three separate motions to approve these resolutions, starting with the sanitary.
Let's see here. Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution setting the sanitary sewer user fees in 2025.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the resolution setting the sanitary sewer rates for 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Zelke.
Councilmember Harkoff.
Aye.
Member Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. All right, now we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution setting the stormwater utility fees in 2025.
I got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the resolution setting the stormwater utility fees for 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? None. Attorney Zelke, please.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Harkoff.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. All right, and the last one.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion approving the resolution setting water user fees in 2025.
I got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the resolution setting the water user fees for 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? None. Attorney Zelke.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Harkoff.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. All right, 10 new business. 10A, 2025 Alley Project. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Allison Felsky with WSB City Engineer. Before you this evening for your consideration is change order number 1 for the alley project. We discussed the alley project schedule back in August, late August, before the project began, indicating that the contractor had experienced delays in other projects this summer due to the significant amounts of rain. And so for your consideration this evening is a change order changing the completion dates and also the definitions of completion. Currently, substantial completion is everything including the paving, restoration, and cleanup. And the proposed is to change that to utility installation and concrete paving. And that revised date is October 31st. The contractor is making great progress. There's 2 alleys left to pave, the 2 southernmost alleys. So we anticipate that the contractor would make this completion date without an issue. And then final completion, the definition is proposed to change to restoration, cleanup, and removal and replacement of any damaged or settled concrete, and that would be by November 30th. And we're anticipating that they would be able to be out of here before that date, but again, with the great weather we've had today, we do see some rainy days, so a contractor does experience delays when the rain comes in. So as I mentioned, they're making great progress with mainline paving anticipated to be completed by the end of this week, but we wanted to bring this forward to the council to formalize the proposed changes to the completion dates. There's no budgetary changes with this change order. The contract amounts remain the same. The contract pricing remains the same. And I would be happy to answer any questions that the council may have with regards to this change order.
No questions. Okay. If you, obviously there was a question sent to you, just want to address that so people know that we looked into the question about that one alley with the bituminous and the marks on it.
Oh, thank you, Mayor Poppy. Yes, it was brought to my attention yesterday that the contractor was doing the paving of the driveways. So there's bituminous and there's concrete on the project. The mainline alleys are concrete. Concrete driveways that existed before the project were replaced with concrete, and paved driveways were replaced with pavement. It was brought to my attention that there was a resident that had made a complaint on, it was a Facebook page of some sort, that there's with the concrete alley, there's pavement placed next to it, and then the rest of their driveway is concrete. And the inspector on the project went and confirmed that before the project there was bituminous pavement there before the project, and that's why it was replaced as such. So while the resident complained that you have concrete, pavement, concrete, that's what was there before. And so that's been the city's stance on replacing these driveways with projects. And then the second concern was with regards to when the paving equipment comes in and is driving over the alley, it leaves marks on the alley. And it's unfortunate. Those are temporary. Those will wear off over time. Bituminous pavement isn't placed before the alley is paved because the bituminous paver works best when it has something to work up to, such as the edge of the alley. So that's why we leave those bituminous paved surfaces until after the alley is poured. So thank you for that opportunity to clarify that with the council.
Thank you. All right, any further questions? If not, we look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
make a motion to pass the resolution approving change order number 1 for the 2025 alley project.
I got a motion by Councilmember Torres to approve the change order number 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Zelke.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Councilmember Harkoff?
Aye.
Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Mayor Poppy?
All right, motion passes 4-0. Thank you. All right, 10B, grant agreement with Metropolitan Council Environmental Services for sanitary sewer inflow and infiltration abatement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. So the Metropolitan Council Environmental Services is the agency in the metro area that is in charge of the sanitary sewer collection from the cities and treatment. And boy, it was probably a couple decades ago, the Metropolitan Council Environmental Services, MCES, was looking at the cost of operating their sanitary sewer treatment facilities and noting that the flows going into these facilities were more than anticipated, and that would be due to inflow and infiltration, which is called I&I. And that means that there's clean water entering the sanitary sewer system, either from sump pumps connecting to the sanitary sewer, or if there's a crack or a break in either a sanitary sewer service or a city pipe, water can infiltrate into the sanitary sewer. So instead of upsizing plants and treating clean water, the MCES came to the cities and had noted they were able to distinguish which cities they figured were the sources of these I&I inflow and infiltration because they have meter stations throughout the system. So Osseo is identified as part of that program, as were many communities in the metro area. And what the Met Council did was say, okay, cities, either you pay a fine every year or every 2 years because of this inflow and infiltration, or what our preference and the good stewards is to go and address the inflow and infiltration and take care of that. And so the demonstration is to show, yep, we're doing this work. And so that system has evolved to a grant system that we're currently in on a 2-year cycle. And so what happened was staff went and filled out an application to MCES saying, hey, we would like to apply for grant money so we can go and take care of this I&I that we have in the community. And so in doing that, we had a preliminary minimum allocation of $22,544 work that would be done in 23 and 24. So we're coming to a point now where Met Council is looking to formalize an agreement with the city for work done in 2023 and 2024. And we included in the packet for council's consideration is the cost of the new castings and chimney and seals that were done in the sanitary sewer system with last year's project, and that came to $23,466. So a little over that preliminary minimum allocation, but the Met Council has identified additional funding, so we're hoping that we can get all of that cost reimbursed. And so for your consideration tonight is we're looking for authorization to enter into a grant agreement with Met Council so that we can go ahead and get that money back into the city coffers for the I&I treatment that's been done.
Council questions?
Mr. Mayor, so just to kind of simplify it, passing this resolution gets us money coming back in to cover expenses that we already paid out at some point in the past.
That's correct. I do apologize for the lengthy explanation, but I thought it would be a good opportunity for council members that aren't familiar with why are we doing this.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to pass resolution to enter into a grant agreement between the City of Osseo and Metropolitan Council Environmental Services for the improvement of publicly owned infrastructure.
I got a motion by Councilmember Torres to approve the grant agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Zelke.
Councilmember Hartkopf.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
10C, approve Public Works job description.
Evening, Mayor and Council. What I have for you tonight is to consider approve the Public Works Maintenance 1 and Public Works Maintenance 2 job descriptions. We've been discussing the change in job description at Public Works Maintenance position for some time. This would be an update. Would include some simplified job description for Public Works Maintenance 1 position, eliminating requirements for the sewer and water licensing. It would lower the pay grade as well. The current Public Works employees would be retitled as Public Works Maintenance 2 with the same job description. So this is kind of part one of what we've been working on here, and basically it just simplifies and eliminates the licensing, more of an entry-level position to assist the Public Works 2 position title. So,
Questions? Now we'd look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I'd make a motion to approve the Public Works job descriptions.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Hartkopf to approve the Public Works job descriptions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, 10D, approve job posting for the full-time Public Works position.
thanks, Mr. Mayor. Again, the second part of this is to approve the posting. Again, we've been discussing the necessary change from a part-time year-round third full-time employee to a fourth full-time position, which would be basically a half-time position addition with benefits. So it was brought to the Budget and Finance Committee, and with some positive feedback, we met with individual members of the council to explain job descriptions and the role of an additional person. Over the last few years, our department has seen a fair amount of change and growth. We now have a safety program. We attend monthly safety trainings. We're working towards a safety manual for the department. Playground inspections, monthly inspections for air tanks, fire extinguishers, eye washes, and stuff like that. So these items require a fair amount of administration time to organize, and as far as keeping the records and keeping track of all this stuff. So. And an additional person will be able to fill this time out in the field, perform general tasks like mowing, street maintenance, snow removal, and partnering with the current staff on projects. This will create more opportunities for projects like sewer jetting, tree trimming, tree removals, and a gate valve cleaning and exercise program. My goal is to get the department on the proactive side of maintenance instead of reacting to problematic situations or breakdowns. With the addition to the department, we can make improvements to our snow removal process, possibly splitting our crews for better coverage, allowing more time off between shifts, AM and PM, and allowing for vacation. So I'm sure as we've talked before, pretty much from Halloween to Easter, we check in. We are here, we're on call. If the forecast says it's going to snow, we're here. So we typically don't allow a lot of PTO or vacations. So that kind of transfers into a busy summer. We find ourselves putting our vacation calendars together to find out when the three of us can do projects together, as far as, what I mentioned, tree trimming and the bigger stuff like that, street paint striping and things like that. So again, just adding the other half of the part-time position plus benefits is what we're looking for.
Questions, Council?
Mayor,
Yep.
really no questions. We covered this pretty thoroughly at a work session and realized the need for this, and it appeared to be a minimum budget change.
Adding a half person.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Kind of building on that, I really like the idea that we're going to be proactive instead of reactive. And, the dollars that we spend, I think, I keep saying it's an investment, because I think the cost of this is going to pay itself back many times over, because we're going to have a much better crew. I mean, we got a great crew now, but we're going to have a more enhanced crew. I like the idea that we're going to have more people available for snowfall. That's safety, if nothing else, right? You got a lot of tired guys trying to, plow a lot of snow. That's going to take some of the pressure off, so I don't see any downside to this at all.
Okay. Someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd make the motion to approve the job posting for Public Works Maintenance 1.
I got a motion by Councilmember Harkoff to approve the job posting. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 10E, approve new social media policy.
Mayor, council, the current social media policy was adopted in 2017. The old policy is out of date and requires some updating, so we started taking a look at how we do our social media. An effective social media use policy takes a comprehensive look at employee use and city technology, how we use that technology, how we interact, kind of what our goals are as far as our social media. There's been some changes in social media use, and this policy needed to be updated. We've currently started looking at everything that's been going on within our social media because of this policy being adopted in 2017. We did a comprehensive look and found that our current social media policy needed to be updated. With that comprehensive look, one of the biggest changes was to not allow comments, and that came out of a staff issue where that staff using staff time, which I don't believe is a correct use of our staff time, to then monitor some of those comments to make sure that they fall within our social media policy. That was some of the issues that we were running into, the time spent doing that, along with we took a comprehensive look at how our social media is used, and we use it for transference of information. There's no back and forth on our comments. We don't comment to other comments. There's just information being sent out to the community. And we have other ways of communicating with city staff. We have a city hall email. We have, you can still send your comments through, I think it was the DMs through Facebook. So there's ways to communicate with staff. One of the best ways for us to use that is that individual questions, comments, concerns can be sent, like we've talked about before, via email and other use. It does not require or keep people from taking what we post and posting it themselves or being able to put it on a community page and make comments, that's still available. Just the difference is that we don't have to monitor that to make sure that the comments are in any way, shape, or form violating our policy. So, and it also is still getting the information out to the consumers, our citizens, and being able to get that information where it needs to go. I'm opening it up to council for
Questions, Council?
Mr. Mayor, I guess not so much a question, but a comment. Some things to consider about this, because I know we've heard earlier tonight about First Amendment rights. I would like to think after a lot of law school, I know a little bit something about the First Amendment and what level of scrutiny is used and what is and what is not part of that. What I think is important, and it's no secret what people know what I think about social media, and it is what it is, it's there. I don't think it's either social, and I know it's not media, but here's a refresher. This is a computer, nothing more, nothing less. This is a computer with a camera on it that makes phone calls. Websites, apps, all these things, it's no different than when you're on your laptop. The thing is, this is immediate. Before, you had to go home, put your thoughts together, sit down on a keyboard, and actually start typing stuff out. Now you just hit a button, start talking, you say whatever the heck comes to your mind. Don't have to think about what you're about to say. So how does this relate to this policy? Well, it relates like this. As we heard from city administrator, the city's sites, the Facebook and whatever, these are one-way communication vehicles. They are not meant for conversations. If you think about it, it's not a whole lot different than the way Matters from the Floor works. And it seems that some folks don't quite understand how that works as well. Matters from the Floor is very important. You can say whatever the heck you want. You can drop F-bombs, even though I feel that's in terrible taste. But you can do it. It's not fighting words. It's not going to get you a whole lot of respect from anybody, but you can do it. But it's one way. You speak, we listen. We don't comment, we don't talk. That's why at the end of a meeting, we have our opportunity when we give reports. That's how the process works. It's not a two-way communication. This isn't a, town hall public meeting. It's a different kind of meeting. But what I'd like to refer to when I thought about this, and thought about the arguments that are being made, and it's fair to have arguments, right? I'm in the business of arguing. But I want you to think about when you're watching TV, and a PSA comes on. And I don't really watch commercial TV, so I don't even know if they do these anymore. There used to be a thing called the PSA, Public Service Announcement. And these would be things that some entity would take 30 seconds and tell you something, to give you information. So you don't have a chance to talk back to the TV. Well, I guess you can talk back to the TV, but when you talk back to the TV, you're not talking to the whole world. When you comment on here, you're talking to the whole world. So guess what? The same way that the city can talk one way out, every person in this room, in this country, can do the same thing. Doesn't cost anything for a Facebook page, doesn't cost anything for an X page, doesn't cost anything, and you can say whatever the heck you want, as long as they let you. But a clarification on that as well. The First Amendment relates to government, not to private entities. So if you get shut down, that's the private entity's business. That being said, it's again the communication vehicle. There's no chilling effect. If we don't allow comments, you still have every ability to comment. Set yourself up a page. If what you're saying is really going to ring true with a lot of people, guess what? You're going to have a whole lot of follows. People will listen to you. You can comment on whatever the heck you want. We are taking the city's website and utilizing it for what it's intended to be. You want information about what's going on around town? Go check out our website. Our social media site is no different than the web page. So when it comes to First Amendment, nobody's First Amendment rights are being infringed. And I would love to see how it is factually. Show me the law that backs it up. Because you're not going to find it. There is no chilling effect. That is what the Supreme Court says must happen if you're in violation as a municipality or city government, national government, whoever. There must be a chilling effect. There is no chilling effect. We are not telling you you can't say something. You can comment all you want about what information we put out, but you got to take the effort to have your own site. So I just want to get that cleared before we start discussing this.
Mr. Mayor? And I think there's one really, really important aspect to this, and I think, and it is addressed in the policy that's laid out, and I think we at least need to talk a little bit about it, because I think this is where some of the confusion lies. And that is if we are making this shift to using the social media sites as a informative tool, we are going to post events, we're going to post information about things that are going out. My understanding, everything that I've looked into, everybody I've talked to, every legal person that I've said, you can do that. 100% you can turn off you're not violating anything by turning off the comments and moving forward with that policy as an informative tool. But what we cannot do, and what we have to be incredibly careful moving forward with, if that's what we're going to do, then that's what we have to do. We can't go back and forth. We can't have comments on some posts and not comments on other posts, or then we get into that whole like, okay, well, who are we allowing to comment? Who are we not? If we blanket it and go, we're not allowing comments moving forward, we're just going to use this to decimate information and get information out to the public, there's nothing, there's no violation of any, there's no Supreme Court case, there's no that says you can't do that, and that's violating citizens' rights. Not that I can find. But where you do run into issues is if you're turning it on and you're turning it off, and you're turning it on and you're turning it off, and then you start dictating who can comment, who can't comment. That kind of stuff is the stuff that we need to make sure that we can't do that. And so that's the only thing that I see with this. If this is the direction we're going to move, then this is the direction we move, and then every single post we have moving forward, this is how we move. It's my recommendation that in all city posts that we have, we add just a tagline at the bottom of each post that says, if you have questions or concerns, send an email here, or educate the public about where they can comment and where they can ask questions, where they can express concerns. It doesn't have to be done on a Facebook page. And there's no law that says it does. There just isn't. But again, where you get into trouble is if we start turning it on and off. We're going to have it on now, we're going to have it off later. If this is a shift that we're going to move, which I know kind of has already been done, then it needs to stay that way moving forward. We can't be continuing to go back and forth, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I haven't taken the bar exam. I don't sit in that chair. I don't. But this is something. Free speech, First Amendment is something that's very, very important to me. It's something that I have always taken a heavy interest in. And I have spent weeks looking into this to see the legalities of things. And I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but everything that I seem to have found has said, yes, you can do this. Legally, you can do this as a city, but you need to then be consistent with that policy moving forward, that you don't want to get into the back and forth. And so that's where the only thing in here that kind of makes me just kind of go, oh, is there's one part where it talks about how the city has the discretion whether to turn off available commenting capabilities for comments to be enabled on social media platforms. So, like, the city also has the discretion when first creating, writing, to turn off available commenting. If we are using this just as a way to decimate information about city events, then let's just do that moving forward and encourage citizens if they want to, if they have questions, if they have concerns, here's where you can voice those concerns. That's just that's my personal opinion. So,
Mr. Mayor, completely agree with Councilmember Cook. What I would point out is if you continue to read the portion that you just did, there's a whole paragraph that I think actually speaks to that concern. And, put it on the record. It is the policy of the city to disable all public commenting on its official Facebook page. Stop. And then it goes on to kind of expand on that. I think the language in the prior paragraph to that is something that a city would never give away its authority. Cities just don't do that. So I think that's pretty standard language to say, we're going to have discretion. It's our page. We do get to have discretion. I mean, quite frankly, we could nix that out, and guess what? We can just go do another policy vote on it, and it's going to happen anyway. But I think the intent is very clear. The transparency is there. This is not for some and not for others. This is we are defining what the purpose of this so-called social media is. It's a website. That's all Facebook is. That's all X is. These are websites that are on your phone. So hopefully that paragraph does help at least a little bit with understanding that this is firm policy. This is go forward policy. And and with that, I'm going to make a motion that we pass and approve the new social media policy.
Okay, I got a motion by Councilmember Torres to approve the new social media policy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? I guess, just my one comment on this is that I agree with everything. Again, we're not shutting anyone down. Anyone can say whatever they want. I mean, our emails are out there. And it's a public forum. And also, we don't have the resources and the staff to be monitoring and responding and replying to different questions that come up. And at the same time, is it their voice or is the council's voice? So then they have to get approval for everything they respond. I mean, they're just exponentially. So whose voice is it that's responding to things? So I think this is the cleanest way and most effective way to disseminate information. So, any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Just to add that the policy was reviewed by our city attorney. And she went through it, reviewed it, and she's the one that made the updates. So we've got her guidance to go by, and I agree with all of it.
Yep. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, 10F, approved lease agreement between Chris Cogswell and the city of Osseo for garage space.
Mayor and council, staff was contacted by Chris Cogswell to look at some of the garages over at the press building, address at 33 2nd Street Northeast. We gave a tour, and then Chris said that he wanted to move into leasing one of the garages at that location. And so at the work session, we discussed leasing that space. Chris Cogswell contacted our staff, and then he wanted it's space A, so we have A, B, and C. And we've agreed to a month-to-month lease for $200 per month to rent one garage space. Attached is the lease agreement for approval.
Okay. Questions, council?
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I would like to make a motion to approve the lease agreement between Chris Cogswell and the city of Osseo for garage space.
Okay, I got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the lease agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, 10G, approve recording secretary service agreement addendum.
Mayor and council, we're currently in an agreement with Minute Maker Secretarial for minute-taking services, and that's what they do for us for council meetings, PSAC meetings, all the meetings that we have, they do the minutes for that. Minute-taking services are critical. It ensures accurate, timely, and professional documentation of meeting proceedings. Also, we use the minute maker also at the police department to do when we have recordings that need to be documented for court. They help us with that also. Due to recent economic adjustments, including cost of living adjustments and the implementation of a state mandated family medical leave program beginning in 2026, Minute Maker Secretarial has informed us of a cost to increase their services. These changes will take effect over 2026 and are intended to support compliance with labor regulations and to sustain the continued quality of service. And so we're asking the council to approve the addendum to the Minute Maker Secretarial Agreement.
Okay, questions, council? For motion.
Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion that we approve the recording secretary service agreement addendum with Minute Maker Secretarial.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Torres to approve the recording secretary service agreement addendum. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. 10H, approve accounts payable. Questions on that?
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
make a motion to approve accounts payable.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Harkoff to approve accounts payable. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Administrator report.
Mayor and council, I just wanted to give an update. About a week and a half ago, we met with both of our legislators. We had kind of a quasi-lunch, I guess, that we sat down with Senator Pa and the House Representative Holtzley. Did I say that right? And I want to give Alicia a lot of credit because she's kind of got the bug in her to be at the Capitol and talking to our legislators, but she put on a good show. She ran the whole meeting. We had really good conversation. It was Councilmember Schultz and Councilmember Torres that were there, and we spoke about a lot of things that are affecting Osseo. The 1.6 million, the maybe a 1% sales tax. There was some discussion on what the state can do for the city of Osseo. We received some really good feedback from both legislators as far as how the meeting went, how it was produced, and then the good open conversation that we all had sitting at the tables. And it was something we've never done before as a city, to have our legislators in and sit down with them across the table and really have some good in-depth conversation back and forth, and learning a lot about this next legislative session, and some good feedback as far as what the city needs to do to fulfill some of our requirements for the state, and then some asks from us to say, hey, state, we need some help. So I think it was very productive. I think it was a positive for our city, and I think everyone was, when we walked away, it was just a great informational sharing time for all of us. So I just kind of wanted to update the council and tell you what we talked about and how good that went and how well that went. So that's my report.
Okay. Assistant Administrator Vickerman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a follow-up item I wanted to share with everyone. We have the Minnesota Historical Society small grant. That was one that was still left kind of in our list to get submitted. So that was finalized on Friday, the 10th. And they have not given any dates as to when, awards or responses are going to come back. So I'll keep you all informed, but just wanted to let you know that next deadline has passed, and we're in there. So I'll let you know what happens.
Thank you. Attorney Zelke.
I have no comments. Mary did not pass along any comments for the
Okay.
council.
Councilmember Torres.
As far as the emails, just real quick, there is a snafu. If you try to email me through the website with the little form, staff is working very hard on this, and they're working to get it squared away. I'm going to let everybody know my email address is osseo.mn.gov. I welcome all comments, good and bad. I think if you ask around to the people that have emailed me, even people very, very upset, I will still reach out. It's all about discourse. It's about discussion. That's how we move forward. That's how we move forward as a society. We talk to each other. We hear each other out. And just want to give that email address. So if you do try to contact me through that tool, through the website, and I don't respond, it is not that I'm ignoring you. It's simply I'm not getting that email. So in the meantime, use my city email address. I am more than willing. In fact, I think I've met personally with everybody that has emailed me since I've started sitting in this chair. So I am happy to have a discourse and have a civil conversation about things. And that's all. Just wanted to get that email address out there.
Councilmember Herkoff.
Thank you, Mayor. About a week and a half ago, I had the opportunity to go to the fire department's pancake breakfast for cancer, and I was really surprised at the great turnout. It was incredible, the number of kids there and the wonderful time they had, and it was good food besides. So I'd like to thank Chief Cogswell and all the fire staff, and they really did a nice job. That's all.
Councilmember Cook.
I would just like to reiterate Councilmember Torres's comments about emails. Certainly, please feel free to reach out if you have questions. Always understand that there are certain things that we can talk about. There's certain things we can't talk about, but we can always have dialogue. And when ultimately, reach a point where, there might have to be a agreement to agree to disagree. And that happens. That's a real thing. We all see things from various different perspectives. So, that's kind of where we're at. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to support anything that restricts the public's ability to communicate with us. And so it's just a matter of where do we do it in the place that can be most effective. And I think that's really, really important. So that's all I got.
Got an announcement here. The Osseo 150th Celebration Committee is pleased to announce the winners of the 150th Celebration Coloring Contest. Coloring contest entries were accepted during the month of August and evaluated by members of the Osseo City Council. Congratulations to the winners. In the 4 and up age category was Sadie. Congratulations. In the 5 to 7 age category was Tally. And in the 8 to 10 age category was Adriana, and the 11 to 13 age category was Katie. Winners will receive a commemorative Osseo 150th Celebration certificate and a gift card to 2 Scoops Ice Cream. All entries are currently showcased on the wall adjacent to the city administrative offices here at City Hall. We invite residents to stop by and appreciate our young Osseo artists' contributions on display throughout the month of October with the blue ribbons on the winners up there. The 150th Celebration Committee extends the gratitude to all participants for sharing their artistic talents and creativity and hope that everyone had fun. Special thanks to Mayor Poppy, members of the Osseo City Council, and the City of Osseo for their invaluable partnership to this event. Yeah, it was a great event. A lot of great entries. And with that, moving on to adjournment.
So moved.
A motion by Councilmember Cook. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. We're adjourned at 7:58.